Helen Keller was born on the 27th of June, 1980, in Alabama, United States. Precisely 18 months after Helen's birth, she was stricken with an unexplainable sickness that almost claimed her life. By the time she recovered, she had lost her sight and was diagnosed deaf by medical experts. As a blind and deaf baby, Helen couldn't communicate with her parents, and they couldn't communicate with her either. But when she became 4, she devised ways by which she could communicate slightly with her parents and even close relatives. At the age of 6, Helen and her father traveled to Baltimore, where they hoped to meet with an oculist who had successfully rectified similar cases. However, after visiting the oculist, Helen's father was told that nothing could be done to restore his daughter's vision and ability to hear correctly. He was advised to consult Dr. Alexander Graham Bell, one of the best ophthalmologists in Washington, D.C. But visiting Washington, D.C. to ask this doctor didn't make any difference. Helen's parents were told to hire an individual teacher from Perkins Institution for the Blind, which they gladly accepted. From the age of 9, Helen started learning to spell words using hand gestures, which would enable her to communicate appropriately. She was taught by a 20-year-old lady who had problems with her vision as well. When the learning process began, Helen was frustrated since she couldn't comprehend all that was being taught. But a few weeks later, Helen showed some improvements. After a year of being taught at home, Helen's parents realized it was time for their daughter to start attending formal school. Helen attended Perkins Institute for the Blind for 6 years, after which she went to Wright Humanson School for the Deaf. She completed her education there and got admitted to the university. Helen's parents never believed that their daughter would ever attain this level of education due to her rare condition. At the age of 24, Helen graduated from college and became the first deaf-blind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. Before her graduation, she started writing some short literary works. A decade after her graduation, she had become a reputable and famous author after the release of her autobiography titled The Story of My Life. Besides her love for literature, Helen also campaigned for women's suffrage, socialism, and labor rights in the United States. In Pennsylvania, Helen's birthday, the 27th of June, is being recognized and honored in memory of her. The habit of making excuses has prevented so many people from achieving the great things that they should have accomplished. Excuses are like a blindfold. They can prevent you from seeing your true potential and realizing your abilities. You must learn to desist from the habit of making excuses. Howard Wright said, "Excuses are lies wrapped up in reasons." There are times when we give reasons for not doing the things that we are meant to do. These reasons are lies. They are lies simply because they aren't capable of stopping us, even though we think they actually can. Whenever you make excuses, you are actually lying to yourself. C.C. Chapman said, "An excuse is nothing more than a self-imposed roadblock." It's very unwise to make excuses. When you begin to give excuses, you're indirectly putting a stop to yourself and what you can do. Excuses can reduce you and make you incapable of doing things you're actually capable of doing. George Washington Carver said, 99% of all failures come from people who have a habit of making excuses. One of the leading causes of failures is the habit of always making excuses. Although certain things may prompt you to make excuses, you should still resist the urge to make excuses. If you don't want to end up being a failure in life, don't resort to making excuses, even if it seems like you have to do so. Helen Keller was blind and deaf from childhood. However, she didn't use that as an excuse not to become successful. Against all the odds, she learned to read, write, and speak. You don't have any excuse not to achieve that dream of yours. Keep going for what you want and don't relent.